The following program is brought to you by PodcastOne Sportsnet.
Today's Thanksgiving, and that means a ton of great football action in the NFL and in college football. There's only one place to get in on all the action, betonline.ag. Use promo code PodcastOne to receive a 50% sign-up bonus when signing up. And don't forget to try in-game live betting, where you can participate with all the action with every play. betonline.ag, your online sportsbook experts and exclusive partner of the PodcastOne Sportsnet.
The following program is a PodcastOne.com production. From Hollywood, California, by way of the Broken Skull Ranch, this is the Steve Austin Show.
Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah! Now, here's Steve Austin.
All right, everybody, welcome to Steve Austin Show. I am coming to you from the mean streets of Los Angeles, California today. You've been downloading this podcast on November 22nd. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And if you hear it after that, happy belated Thanksgiving. Before we get going, send my thoughts out to all of the people who lost their houses, maybe everything they own, or loved ones in the California fires. Hopefully there's something that can take your mind off of all the devastation, and people still selling from some of the hurricane stuff on the East Coast and down there in the Gulf Coast region. Still lots of things going on. So wherever you're at, whatever the circumstances, I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving. This is a little different for us, Kristen, because normally we're used to being down there in South Texas, down at the Broken Skull Ranch, and we sold that place a couple years ago. But even last year, we were down there visiting my folks and my family, and we decided, just because of our schedule and the way we have this year booked, going towards the back end of 2018, heading into 2019, we're going to be able to get down to South Texas. Well, and so there's a line of damn traffic. It's been a hell of a drive. And these damn airports are crowded as shit because more people are flying this year than I think ever before. And you see all those damn pictures on social media of the California traffic going through L.A., just a sea of taillights or a sea of headlights that is just jam-packed. I am not used to being in Los Angeles this time of year, so I'm a little discombobulated.
Discombobulated.
It's bad.
We're going to be in South Texas for December. That's why we're here for November.
Yeah, we're going to go watch my niece graduate, and we'll get down there for about 3 or 4 days, and then we'll come back and celebrate our birthday. Yep. Mine's on the 18th, yours on the 19th, our anniversary's on the 22nd.
22nd?
21st. Hey, man, I've been heading to hell with so many steel chairs, I can't remember.
Wow.
I was only off by a day.
The first day of winter. That's the best clue I can give you.
Because that's when it got real cold. Especially when I fucked up the day by one date. God dang, can I do that over? No, we ain't doing it over.
At least you got my birthday right.
I got your birthday right. So what are we actually doing on Thanksgiving Day? Because, man, I think we're going to do something with your mother and go down and see your relatives. This concerns me because getting out there and all this damn traffic's going to be a motherfucker.
I don't think it's going to be bad tomorrow.
You don't?
Nope.
Why?
Everybody's going to be at their destinations and enjoying their Thanksgiving meals.
We always say that. Sometimes when we come back from Nevada, that one time we took off late, we came through Los Angeles at like 8 o'clock at night, and it was just like rush hour traffic, and we always say the same thing.
Where's everybody going?
Yeah, where the fuck's everybody going? It's like, shit, I want to follow somebody to find out where the fuck they're going. It's ridiculous. So I can't believe it. So, man, I'm hoping. You said it's about 100 miles or about an hour drive?
It's about an hour drive.
Okay, so hopefully, and then your mother's going to come over to our house.
It's funny because in L.A., we don't go by miles, we go by time.
Yeah, everywhere else in Texas, you go by miles. Here, it's by time.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be too bad of a clusterfuck, hopefully.
No, it'll be really nice.
So is there going to be a big spread there? Because I know you always chip in and help my mom and my sister and all that other stuff. But, man, shoot, I haven't met some of the people that we're going to see tomorrow. Some of your relatives.
Yeah, you haven't. My cousins, my uncle.
Now, the one dude that owns all the restaurants, I know he's a good cook, and so he's hip to good food. But is the food going to be the shits, or is it going to be good?
Well, my cousin, the tradition at his house, and he works at restaurants, so he's pretty good with food. He knows good food, and I trust him on that. Everybody pitches in and makes a portion of the meal. So my portion tomorrow is making the mac and cheese. And someone else will do the deep fried turkey. Someone will do the stuffing. Someone will do the whatever, green beans. So everybody partakes in the preparation of the meal. So I think it'll be really nice.
I feel like I'm not lending enough of a helping hand. What do I need to do to contribute? You're going to say, stay in the fucking car. All of a sudden, you're going to say, it's time to eat. Where's Steve at? You're going to say, break out the gimp.
The Gimp?
That's from Pulp Fiction.
Oh.
You remember that line?
I don't remember lines in movies like you do.
I'm a little concerned about how everything's going to go.
It'll be wonderful.
Are we going to have a good time?
Yes, we will.
Are you going to go shopping on Black Friday? Because I'm sitting here watching TV before I start doing this podcast, and all I can see, I think there's about 100 and some odd million people getting ready for Black Friday. Are there really deals to be had? It's going to be too much of a clusterfuck, because all of a sudden, man, all of these motherfuckers open up the doors, and there's fights and stuff over trying to get the bargains at the Black Friday gimmick. Everybody's
buying a new TV set that they don't need.
I know. It's a cluster. You just went out getting some stuff for tomorrow, so you look good. I'm going to wear a pair of jeans. Unless I can wear shorts, I'll wear shorts.
You can wear shorts.
You got 30% off.
I did.
You got a good score.
But I got to Home Depot, and they were in preparation for Black Friday. So you couldn't hardly get down the aisles because they had all the goodies hidden behind black tarps. So, yeah.
And that's for Black Friday?
Yeah.
Man, it's got to be the biggest work in the history of the business.
Got to be.
I think it's just a volume thing.
Yeah.
You mark it down, shitloads of people come, you sell so much of it. I don't know. It's a gimmick.
I haven't done shopping on Black Friday in a long time.
I remember last time you went and you got smoked so bad just because of all the crazy traffic in the parking lot.
People.
You just said, hey, I ain't doing it no more.
Not worth it.
I don't think so either.
I'd rather shop online.
I don't think I've been shopping on Black Friday since at least 15 years ago. I mean, I got nothing to shop for. I mean, what am I going to do? Go to Walmart and get a gun cleaning kit? You know?
There you go.
Yeah.
Put it on your Christmas list.
Make sure I'm first in line. They're going to have those Remington gun cleaning kits on sale. Yeah. I'm going to go grab one. I'll tell you what, when they release those video games and all that other bullshit, man, or the PlayStations, whatever those gimmicks are, those are the things motherfuckers fight over.
Oh, yeah. No, people fight over everything. You'll see.
Even in the parking lots.
Yeah. They fight for parking spots.
Anyway, we're not going to be a part of that, right?
No, we're not.
And then we're trying to spool up because once we get through with Thanksgiving, I got a couple of meetings, and then we're going to haul ass to Nevada.
Yes, we are.
You miss your horse?
I do.
Kristen got that new horse. I don't know if you heard, but it's a Missouri Foxtrotter named Rebel. And when we got this horse named Rebel, who was actually given to us, we didn't pay for the horse, and he's an outstanding horse with some good training, and he's very gentle. He has that smooth gait. And we were thinking, man, Rebel. I don't know, maybe we should change his name to something that we would name him. Goes back to like when we got Hershey the Wonder Dog, our prized chocolate lab, who's no longer with us. I thought, well, I don't know about Hershey. Maybe I want to change her name to something I would call her. But I couldn't do that because she was a year and a half old. Right. She knew her name was Hershey. And, of course, I love that name now.
Yeah.
So you could never replace Hershey. And then the lady that we know up there in Nevada says, you can't change that horse's name.
It's bad luck?
It's bad luck.
And I don't need any bad luck with a horse.
And you know what? Now that we've had him for a couple of weeks, he is like a rebel. I mean, because we were going to call him Dollar, like after John Wayne's horse in The Shootist.
The Shootist, yeah.
But since he's got a name for 23 years, I ain't going to fuck him up.
That's like somebody changing my name.
Yeah, like my name is Steve, but all of a sudden somebody arbitrarily wants to start calling me Bob. I'm probably not going to answer.
I have called you Bob.
Have you?
Yeah, when we were in the store one time, I didn't want people to know that was you. So I yelled out Bob, and you didn't hear me.
That was a kayfabe Bob. So we ain't going out on Black Friday. We're traveling about an hour. Hopefully the traffic doesn't kick our ass. Should be some interesting football games on. God dang, man. I didn't see that game. But that damn score, I was watching the score on my computer between the Los Angeles Rams and the Kansas City Chiefs, 54-51. Can you believe that?
No.
105 points scored in a professional football game. I think that was the third in NFL history, but the first in Monday Night Football. Incredible stat. As a matter of fact, I wanted to go down to see some of the cats from the WWE because they were just in town. But when there's a pay-per-view, I don't really like to go around because, man, guys and girls got so much on the line. They're trying to get their shit together to go out and put on a performance of a lifetime. And then you have Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, and still, that's live television. You're going out there to have the best show you can. So don't like to be a distraction. I like to let the guys and gals go about their business, get their shit together, because this is what they do for a living. So I didn't get a chance to go down there and talk to anybody. While the WWE was in town, Kalisto, as you heard on the podcast, came by 317 Gimmick Street. But I knew Ric Flair was coming into town because he gave me a heads up. And he asked me if I was going to be at Survivor Series. I said, no, I won't be there, but I'd love to come see you, and maybe we can do lunch. So Rick and I agreed to do lunch. And so the day after Survivor Series, I called him. I said, hey, man, we still on for lunch? And he goes, no, I got to go promote something for WWE, but I've got 2 sideline passes for the Rams-Chiefs game. He goes, I want you to go with me. A sideline pass to go down to the game, the football game, with the Nature Boy Ric Flair, but I had a bunch of other shit that I had to do, so I could not go. And I saw him on the sideline. He's a big Todd Gurley fan. I guess him and Todd are friends, and he's cutting a couple of promos. The Chiefs must go down, and they ended up going down, but it was a hell of a game. So I could have been on the sidelines, Kristen, but I had too much shit to do. And you know, the only thing that I don't regret about that, you know, I hate driving in traffic.
Oh, yeah.
And as long as I performed in the middle of the squared circle in the ring and had people in the audience, that was great. I love being in events like that. But when I got to go get into traffic, and I'm not in the building first, and so I just hate all it's like all the UFC stuff that we've been to. I've been to probably 8, maybe 10 fights. And I always find that
I went
the
to
best
one
seat,
with
you don't know what to want. And the dude next to you was so shit-faced. After he bought me a beer, I reversed the rib, and I started buying this motherfucker beer after beer after beer. And he was almost comatose by the time it was all over. He was slumped down in his chair.
No, slumped down in my lap.
He was hanging all over Kristen.
Oh,
Kristen
God.
had her purse in her lap because he had spilled so many beers underneath our feet.
Well, I wouldn't put my purse on the floor anyway.
I know, but he had spilled all that beer. It was absolutely ridiculous. But my point is,
I'll never go to one again.
that was a great. Actually, that was the night that Ronda Rousey fought Sarah McMahon. And
Sarah McMahon?
Yeah, the Olympic wrestler.
Oh.
Yeah. I think I'm getting her name right. I know it was about McMahon.
Doesn't sound right.
Yes, I just looked it up on the computer. It was Sarah McMahon. And my point is, for me, whether it's a football game or UFC, I'd rather be sitting on my couch with a remote control in my hand. I got the best view because of all the camera angles. I'm not looking through the cage, or I'm not trying to look, all the way across the field. So,
what about concerts? You like to watch those on TV too?
Man, the thing about concerts is because you've been to 100 probably.
More
from
than that.
Metallica to Megadeth, the Tool, all those bands that
the punk rock one.
All the punk rock stuff. Man, I never want to get caught up in that grind. So I've been to maybe 6 or 8 concerts in my life. And the live performances, that's the bomb. But again, like all the Stevie Ray Vaughan stuff we've watched from way back in the day, I just don't do that. I ain't a crowd person.
Well, you would kind of stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, I can kind of get away with it. But anyway, my point is, I'm looking forward to, I don't even know what I had a point there. Oh, on a closing note for the open of the podcast, I have been getting a ton of emails from people who tried the Broken Skull Ranch Margarita Mix, and they absolutely love it. So I'm glad that everybody's enjoying the mix. I was glad to put it out there. One of these days, I'm going to write the recipe down on my Instagram account because I said I was going to post that, and I never did. So I'll try to do that, and I maybe get my wife to hold an iPhone, and I'll actually mix one for you and put on Instagram, because now you can do those little videos that you can go 59 seconds, 59 seconds, 59 seconds.
Is there a name for that?
No, you just make the videos and you push that multiple button, because people, I see it on the wrestling stuff all the time. No, it don't take me like 3 minutes to do the video, but I ain't having nobody come in and do a professional edit on me making a goddamn margarita. But to show you how I make mine, that's like a science lab. This is like, what was that guy's name from Breaking Bad, Walter White?
Yep.
Yeah, like Walter White was to that damn meth or whatever the fuck they were making. That's me when I'm making a margarita. I am that meticulous ruthless to detail. When Jesse or whatever name, he was kind of a slacker in his chemistry class, and then they're just making that shit together, and he was willing to cut corners. I don't cut corners. I use the finest ingredients. I do it with the utmost care and precision, and then I dial in the adjustment accordingly. And that's why it's dubbed the Broken Skull Ranch Margarita, Kristen, because I demand perfection in anything I drink. Copy?
Copy.
All right, well, thanks for going. I didn't mean to get all intense on you, but you know how serious I take my margaritas.
Yes.
I'm going to come right back. You guys sent me in some questions a while back, and I got through about half of them. So I'm going to come back and answer some of the questions that you guys sent in to questions@steveaustenshow.com. I appreciate the help, and you guys got me out of, through that mule deer hunt with Mitch, and I'm going to answer the rest of those questions. Coming right back, thank my illustrious wife, Kristen, for joining me on the open of this show. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Today is Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And that means a ton of great food and a ton of great football action. In college football, there are some huge matchups with Michigan versus Ohio State, Washington versus Washington State, and Notre Dame versus USC. Are you looking for a place for all your online wagers? Look no further, because our friends at betonline.ag have got you covered. Betonline.ag is an exclusive partner of PodcastOne Sportsnet and our go-to for online sports betting. Do not hesitate. Head over to betonline.ag to take advantage of the best bonuses in the business. When you're there, use promo code PodcastOne. That's PodcastOne to receive a 50% sign-up bonus today. Go online and use your mobile phone to sign up today. And try in-game live betting where you can participate with all the action with every play. Once more, that's betonline.ag, and use promo code PodcastOne to start winning with your online sportsbook experts. And if all this talk about college football has got you fired up, just wait, because as the regular season is coming to an end, the college football postseason is about to heat up. 4 teams will soon be selected to play in the college football playoff, airing Saturday, December 29th on ESPN. The selection show on December 2nd at noon Eastern on ESPN will unveil the 4 teams playing in back-to-back playoff semifinal games. As of this Monday, November 19th, the following teams all have a shot at making the college football playoff: Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame. This season would be Notre Dame's first college football playoff appearance. Michigan. This would be Michigan's first college football playoff appearance as well. Georgia. This would be their second straight appearance. University of Oklahoma, Washington State, Ohio State, and West Virginia. It goes without saying that it's make-or-break time in college football. Check out the College Football Playoff Selection Show on December 2nd at noon Eastern. And don't miss the College Football Playoff itself, airing Saturday, December 29th, only on ESPN.
This is the Steve Austin Show.
All right, everybody, here we go. You guys sent me some questions at SteveAustinShow.com, and I got a chance to go through half of them a few weeks ago, and I was going to pick up where I left off. These are all copied and pasted off of my email onto a little piece of paper right here on my computer, so they're in no particular order. There's no specific subject. They're all over the place. But I wanted to finish up the job that I started that got us through one podcast, and this is going to get us through one more. So we'll start off with a question, or a couple of questions, by Josh Haddix. And Josh sends in an email, and he goes, Steve, I don't want to waste your time explaining how big of a fan I am, so I'll go ahead and cut the bullshit and jump right in. I just watched a video on YouTube of an interview you did at your house in 1997 while you were suspended by the WWF. And he put a link in below in case I don't remember it. I have 2 questions for you. Was that your real house at the time? No, that was not. That was a house of a guy I knew back in the day. And that was my bow. Those were my arrows. That was my 3D deer target. I used to shoot all the time. His yard made for a better location at the time than my yard did, so that's why we did that gig there. And we put the deer out there. We had those 8x10 promo pictures from the WWF. All those guys from Gorilla Monsoon to Jim Ross and to, I think, Owen Hart sent me all those 8x10s, which all the signatures were the same. So, no, that was not my house. It was a place I used to go way back in the day, and that's the facility that we used. And they go and ask, did you actually shoot those targets, or was that filmed separately and cut into the video? Good question. Those were all shots that I fired. You could have put a camera close up to the 3D target and stood right next to it and been out off camera and fired those arrows in there. But we didn't do that. I had a camera close up. I was standing on the front porch talking shit and all that stuff. And so those were actual shots. I was pretty decent with the bow back in the day. I ain't never shot at a deer. I just shoot targets. But I was on that day. And I shoot a lot anyway. Still to this day, I shoot a couple times a week. There was no editing of that. I was actually me shooting that video. And then dude asked me the third question. Josh says, do you miss having your ear pierced? No, I do not. I'll tell you, man, when I first got that ear pierced, it was way back in the day when I first got in the business. And I figured, hey, man, I never had a piercing, never had nothing. It just wasn't my cup of tea. But I figured since I got into the business of pro wrestling, maybe I needed to do something to stand out a little bit. This is me way back in the day. This is when I had long blonde hair. So I got my left ear pierced, and then I got one of those crystal earrings, about an inch and a half long, that dangled from my left ear. And I remembered about that time also getting in the business of professional wrestling, a lot of guys shave their legs and their arms or their chest and back just because a lot of times it looked better for TV. Obviously, not Dutch Mantel because that hairy look worked for him, but for me, this back in the day, pretty good looking guy, pretty good physique for back in the day, long blonde hair. And I figured, hey man, I'll pierce my ear and that'll look cool. And I'll start shaving my legs like all the other guys do. About that time, my dad used to have a fishing trip every single year, and that fishing trip is still going on strong, almost 50 years to the date that he started. And this happens every single year in Port O'Connor, Texas. So I'd started my wrestling career, and my dad said, hey, Steve, the fishing trip's going to be down in Port O'Connor. Hope you can join us. So sure enough, I had a break in my schedule, and we grew up fishing in South Texas, in Port O'Connor, and, some freshwater fishing too, but it was always 90% saltwater fishing, Gulf of Mexico and all those bays there in Port O'Connor. So I go down there, and man, my dad's got 25 of his buddies. We always rented a couple of beach houses there. Everybody chipped in to pay for everything. All the food was cooked. It was like just gourmet shit. Everybody would smoke stuff. So anyway, I walk in there, and I don't hardly know everybody because I've been on the road for a while in the business of pro wrestling. And when my dad kind of looks at me, your dad always has that kind of look that it gives you, right? And he looked at me, and he kind of cocked his head, and he goes, Stephen, is that an earring I see in your ear? And boy, there I was, right there in front of about 20, 25 of his buddies that he's known all his life. And I'm on the spot because nobody else had an earring in about 1992 out of the bunch that he was hanging out with. And I said, yes, sir. He goes, well, why in the hell would you want to go do something like that? Well, there I am with my thumb up my ass. My dad just asked me why I got an earring, so I got a shit out of answer. So I just said, yeah, and he didn't really understand the pro wrestling thing to begin with. And my dad's old school and played football at Yoakum High School. He's in their Hall of Fame. I believe my dad was born in 1937. And he just couldn't believe that I had an earring in my ear. And I said, yes, sir. I said, that's an earring. I just did it to kind of, look a little bit different. And he kind of shook his head, okay, even though he didn't really understand it. And then he looks at me, he looks down at my legs. He goes, and I got blonde hair, so it ain't like the hair on my legs is really bushy. But he goes, God damn it, boy, did you shave your legs? And boy, the earring was bad enough. But when he asked me if I shaved my legs in front of 25 grown men, then I really wanted to crawl underneath the carpet. And I said, yes, sir. And he goes, why in the hell would you want to do something like that? And I said, Dad, just do it to kind of look different for wrestling. And that was kind of the end of it. So anyway, but to go back to your story, no, I don't miss having my ears pierced. I was trying to do something. When you get into the business of wrestling or when you get into the business of entertainment, whether you're a rock and roll, country act, actor, wrestler, whatever, you watch all the different phases And the changes that people will go trying to experiment with a formula that will hit home and give them that identity that they need. Now, don't get me wrong. That pierced ear would stay with me for quite some time. And then when I first rolled into WWF back in the day, I still had that. And it worked for me. And then I just decided, hey, man, let me just shit can this. I don't need it. Let me just go on about my business. But then there's that one time when I decided I needed to look more different. So that's when, I think I've told this story on a podcast before, but it's been a couple of years. That's when I decided to start at the top of my ear and put those little studs all the way down the side of my ear. I think there's probably about 5 or 6 of them. And they ask you, okay, pick the size of the bead you want. Well, I don't want these gigantic beads because it looked too distracting. So I just got these smaller type, stainless steel beads. So it was in my left ear. Here's the thing, man. Somebody grabs a headlock on you, man, their forearm is right there on your ear. And, of course, headlock is one of the damn most popular holds to grab on somebody. So after getting those damn things freshly pierced and then going out there and working a headlock series with someone or just taking bumps, you're always in that area of the head. So, of course, what happens? When you get your ears pierced or whatever, you're supposed to spin those things around every now and then so they don't get stuck, so the hole heals up, and then you can finally, you're not supposed to take them out for a certain period of time. Well, because they were in an unsanitary environment, because they were getting pounded on and wrenched on through headlocks and stuff like that, my ears got swole up, and my ears swole up so bad that the heads of the studs went inside my ear. And that's when I decided, hey, fuck this. Let me take these dumb motherfuckers out and just shit can them. So I don't miss the pierced ears. I did have them at one time. They look good on many people. Don't regret it at all. When I had the 5 in there, that was a little much, but the 1, you can still see that hole that was in my ear. But I had to move on down the road and be a little bit different, and I didn't need the pierced ear. Still shave my legs to this day. Don't necessarily use a razor blade, but I use one of them damn clippers. And that's how I roll, just so I maintain some type of appearance. But that's the story about the ears being pierced. And that wasn't my house at the time of that shoot, but that was me shooting those arrows into that damn 3D target. Steve, long-time listener here, long-time fan. My question is about your football career. What made you want to get into it? Was linebacker the only position you played? Would you have went to the NFL over pro wrestling if you would have had the opportunity? Thanks, Jake from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Actually, I was a running back in high school. Run about a 4.9 40. Line weighed 165 pounds. I weighed 205 pounds. And I couldn't run east or west because I wasn't fast enough, so I ran north and south. I got into football because my brother was playing 2 years before me, and I figured, man, if you're growing up in South Texas, that's just what you do. And I was always drawn to football. I always watched it as a kid with my father. And, I was basically a running back. And then when I went to junior college, I turned into a linebacker. And then I got a scholarship to North Texas State playing linebacker, blew out my knee, and then finished out my senior season playing weak side defensive end. And, man, I was barely good enough to get a scholarship. I was fortunate. The junior college scholarship was okay. But when I got to North Texas State, man, I was average at best. I was just good enough to be on the team. Shit, NFL, not a chance of me being in the NFL. You look at the NFL these days, or at any generation, you're looking at the absolute best of the best of the best that play football. Man, I wasn't nowhere near that stratosphere. So I was lucky to get a scholarship, and I was lucky to get a free education until I dropped out at 17 hours to graduate. But anyway, that was my deal about football. I think I answered that on the last question. Here's a question. Hey, Steve, I remember you saying on the podcast that y'all traded the Range Rover for a Grand Cherokee, and I was wondering how they compared. It seems like the Grand Cherokee has made an improvement in quality, and I was wondering how it compares with the luxury-oriented Range Rover. Jake, listening in Oklahoma State University. I guess that's over in Stillwater, Oklahoma State. Man, the Range Rover and the Grand Cherokee are two very similar animals, but very different, because Range Rover on the upper end of luxury for sure, and with a tried and proven four-wheel drive pedigree. Man, those things can damn near go anywhere. The thing about getting a Range Rover, and we had the big Range Rover, I got it for the capabilities, and we had the supercharged V6. You don't need the supercharged V8 for the streets of LA. It's just too much. You don't need that extra weight. It was phenomenal, and those things do great when you take them off-road. We never took that thing off-road. It was our Los Angeles vehicle. Now, let's talk about that Grand Cherokee. The Range Rover is just damn expensive. That's why it's the top SUV in the luxury category. It's that nice of a vehicle, and it was cool driving it for a little while, but the Grand Cherokee is 1/3 the price from a leasing standpoint, and I love to save money, and there was no sense in paying that much money per month for a leased vehicle. We enjoyed it for the 3 years that we leased it, but since I only wanted to sign a 2-year lease, Grand Cherokee was really one of the only ones that was available, and we went and drove them. And I had a Grand Cherokee Limited way back in 1993 when I was wrestling for WCW. I had a white one with gold trim, and I had a regular Cherokee with a 6-cylinder in it. But the comparison is both have a 6. The Range Rover supercharged. It ran like a bat out of hell. The Grand Cherokee with the regular V6 runs really good. When you're talking about Jeep, their pedigree off-road is as good as it gets as well. So we're not going to take this thing off-road, but it is 4-wheel drive as well. So being just a little bit smaller, the Grand Cherokee has a little bit tighter turning radius. It's easier to parallel park just because it's a smaller vehicle and turns on a dime and spits out a nickel change. It's one of the best cars I've had, driving in Los Angeles because of the way, it works, it operates, and is easy to park. So I would say the Grand Cherokee, because of its size and turning radius, is actually a little bit better vehicle for Los Angeles traffic. Now, if I was going to haul off and do a bunch of long-range traveling, I'd get that Range Rover with the supercharged V8. But again, these are city vehicles that we lease. And turn that Range Rover in, saving money on a Grand Cherokee. And yeah, the Jeep is awesome. It's very simple. And in my opinion, the infotainment is light years better in the Grand Cherokee than the Range Rover. For being as expensive as it is, that's where the Range Rover really sucks ass, is that infotainment center, the connectivity, the ease with using that thing. You get in that Grand Cherokee, you hook your phone right up, and everything is very simple. It's like using an iPhone. That's how simple it is. Yeah, it has many things that it can do, but it's very simple and intuitive. The Range Rover infotainment is not intuitive whatsoever. So, love both cars, but right now I'm glad we traded for the Grand Cherokee. We're saving money. It's great for around town, and it's all we need. Steve, you mentioned more than once that you left university when you were only 17 hours away from graduating. Did you regret doing that at any stage, and if so, for how long did it take for the regret to pass? All the best, Ed. No, Ed, I think I told this story many times on the podcast. I don't regret leaving the University of North Texas as they know it now early with 17 hours to graduate because I never used that college degree. Many people who have gone through college and ended up playing a professional sport have gone back and gotten their degree because it was a goal of theirs, or maybe it was a promise that they made to one of their parents or a loved one. I didn't make anybody no promises. I know that when I decided to drop out of college after I had 5 free years of college. So after I dropped out, I said, man, fuck it, I'm done. It hurt my parents. It broke my mom and dad's heart because at the time I would have been the first of all the kids to get a college degree. So they weren't happy with me, but I have no desire to go back to a university so I can hang a degree on my wall. And when I say that, I'm speaking specifically for me. To anybody out there, to any young kids that listen to this podcast, I highly recommend being armed to the teeth when it comes time for job skills, education, degrees, diplomas, whatever it's going to take. The more armed you are to go out there and fight for a job, to be qualified for a job, whether it's vocational tech school, welding school, any kind of school, or you're getting a degree to choose or go down your chosen path, you're going to be required to do that. I highly recommend it, but I don't regret it because it's not something that I needed doing what I ended up getting into. So I will never go back to college to get one. Hey, Steve, how come you don't mention those gimmicks in the mail anymore? Been a fan since USWA. Thank you, Alex. Hey, man, those gimmicks they send in the mail call bills, they still come through. I'm still doing this show for the working man, too. Sometimes I just change my shit up, and once you've been talking about something for long enough, sometimes I just go down a different road. But yeah, man, they're still sending the gimmicks in the mail. They are called bills, and right now we're still paying them because they haven't turned my electricity off and they haven't repossessed my car. So other than that, all is good. That damn mailman, though, he always comes to 316 Gimmick Street to drop off his shit. He's always getting his shit in. How's that? Here's one from a guy named Jordan. He says, Steve, how much would you charge me to drive your Ford Focus out to San Diego and serve up a couple of stunners to the assholes that keep letting their dog shit in my yard and not picking it up? Boy, if there's one thing I can't stand, because I stepped in a pile of dog shit just the other day walking down the sidewalk with Callie and Moolah, and my wife was with me. And she says, right before I stepped on a pile of shit because I was looking at a house, she goes, watch out for that dog. And I was already in it. And I was like, motherfucker, are you shitting me? No pun intended. Anytime we go out to walk our dogs, if I'm by myself or with my wife, I got those retractable leashes. I think they're about 22, 25 feet long. And I got 2 shit bags in my pocket or in my belt loop. I always have those bags with me because I don't want my dogs to shit and I can't pick it up. I actually had that happen to me one time. I got caught off guard. I didn't have my bags with me, and Moolah took a big shit on side of the sidewalk in the grass. And since I didn't have a bag with me, and I was so self-conscious about not leaving that shit there, I could have came back later and picked it up, but maybe somebody saw me. I actually took off my brand new Broken Skull Ranch hat, scooped up the shit with my hat, turned it upside down, and went and found the nearest trash can that I could find. But, man, there's one thing that really gets under my skin is people that don't clean up their dog shit. And right there outside where we park one of our cars, there is a pile of the slimiest dog shit you have ever seen. And I almost stepped in that the other day. So my wife gets online, goes to Amazon, and orders a couple of those signs. I think it basically says, please clean up after your dog. And there's a silhouette of a dog shitting on the ground. And there's still piles of shit out there, but yeah, that chaps my ass. And you can't borrow my Ford Focus, but I will rent it to you. Here's a question comes out of Virginia from Rodolfo Martinez. He says, hey, Steve, I'm a huge fan and watching you for years. You're my favorite wrestler of all time. Anyway, I got a wrestling question. If this has been answered, please ignore the email. I know I've answered it. I'll answer it anyway. What is the purpose of the white rope that I see during the tag team matches? I've seen the wrestlers grab it at times. I appreciate your answers on this. Have a good one. Hell yeah. Well, Rodolfo, I have answered this question many times, but I'll answer it again. I was watching the tag match on Monday Night Raw just the other night, and there's a guy in the corner standing there with that white rope in his hands, and that is supposed to be, when you hold on to the end of the rope, that's the furthest you can get down that apron. You must be into contact with that rope, so you just don't walk up and down that apron or try to edge your way out there to try to get a tag. This is supposed to negate that. But guys don't know how to work the ropes anymore. Dudes sitting there, and they're holding the midway part of the rope, or they're alligator arming their partner or their opponent, and no one's controlling the ring. No one's cutting off the ring. And so the rope serves a purpose. And back in the day, man, we used to use those things to choke people and do stuff like that behind the referee's back. Obviously, these days, with everything being so many corporate sponsors, you can't do half the shit we used to use those ropes for. But they're essentially there to keep a person within a certain boundary in a tag match. But they're rarely used correctly. They're rarely even used. No one makes mention of them. They might as well just take them off the goddamn ring and just have guys over there hang on to the corner, because there's nothing worse than a guy standing there kind of haphazardly holding the rope and then alligator arming his opponent or his partner because they're too close to the fucking corner. So they might as well do away with the sumbitches, to be honest with you. But that's my thoughts on the tag ropes. But it goes way back, I guess. Here's one from Indianapolis, Indiana, from Donnie. He says, hey, Stone Cold, I haven't heard you talk about the Z28 you're having restored in a while. I'm a big car guy, so I was just curious how it was going and when it would be hitting the streets. You made a great choice buying that Z06 because they are by far the best performance deal on the market today. Well, let's talk about that 74 Z28, which my buddy down there in Edna, right on the outskirts of Edna, 74 Z28. I think it's about 70,000 original miles. That car's got a 350. It's an automatic. It's a numbers matching car. There's nothing special about it. It's not in particularly great shape. But anyway, my buddy was getting the motor rebuilt. I think he put a cam in it. Other than that, it's going to have some headers, a little bit of a Edelbrock high-rise exhaust with a Holley 4-barrel. So there's nothing spectacular about it. It was originally a medium red car, and those 74s had the Z28 decal on it, which was specific to 1974. When I get it, I actually texted my buddy about it yesterday. When I do get it, I'm going to convert it to Cortez silver with 2 black stripes down the hood, not the big Z28. It's a little bit loud for me. And I'll pretty much keep it in a stock configuration. There's no reason to make that car into a hot rod. It's a 74. Anyway, so I'm waiting on getting the car. I haven't given my buddy any money yet. We have an agreed upon price. It's a great deal. I'm probably going to sink more money into the car than I'm paying for it, but I just want to return it to pretty much all stock. It's going to be different paint, but everything else is matching numbers. And there's no reason to turn that car into a hot rod, because when I bought that Corvette Z06 from 2017, I got 1,300 miles in that thing. That thing has it's a supercharged V8. It has 650 horsepower, 650 pound-feet of foot-pound, whatever, torque. That thing is an absolute monster. So there's no reason to turn it into a hot rod because I have that Corvette, and I rarely drive it. Again, the only reason I got that car was because it was a once-in-a-lifetime deal, so I picked it up. Speaking about that Corvette Z06 2017 model, I think some of the 15 models had some cooling problems. I think that's if you were hot rodding it or whatever. Man, I don't put my foot in that damn car. I just cruise around in it. That 650 horsepower and the torque is just so strong. I don't need to go there. So basically, man, I drive that damn Corvette to speed limit. I cruise around town. I don't tear it up. And if it sits in my shop, all I got to do is just look at it, and it gives me pleasure because I think that the Corvette is the baddest American sports car that's ever been made. And you got your Camaros and your Mustangs and your Dodge, all that stuff. But the Corvette is just such an iconic vehicle. This is the 4th one I've had. I always sold the other ones because I just ended up getting rid of them, but I'm going to keep this one until I am no longer here. And I just enjoy looking at it, and I really enjoy driving it. I could have just got a Grand Sport. I really don't need 650 horsepower, but again, it all goes back to wasn't even looking for this car. It would just happen to be a good deal, and I got it. And the 74Z, hopefully we get it. We convert it to silver. Doesn't really need a frame-off restoration or anything like that. I'm not going to try and make anything special out of it. It's just a neat car from 74, and I'm a big fan of that body style.
Alexa isn't the only one with breaking news. Make sure to hang around at the end of this podcast for the latest breaking headlines on the AP News Minute.
It's Thanksgiving season, and PodcastOne is your home for the best cooking podcasts around. Get a helping of celebrity chef Rick Bayless on The Feed.
That was a lot of food.
It was a lot of food.
With a side of Forked Up, a Thug Kitchen podcast.
You want the okra dusted.
Then top it off with a slice of Richard Blais on Starving for Attention.
This is a crucial part of a hot dog, right?
Happy Thanksgiving, and enjoy The Feed, Forked Up, and Starving for Attention each week on PodcastOne or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
This is the Steve Austin Show.
Steve, you're always one of my favorite wrestlers. As life went, I grew up away from wrestling, and then 3 years ago, I fell at work and broke both elbows. Shortly after that, I found out how great podcasts were. I went from a working man to a laid-up man, and I also found wrestling again during this time. Your podcast helped me get through a crazy time, and I appreciate that you keep up the great work. Still in the retraining mode as I get back to my physical job. Currently getting my AA in business management, trying to set an example for my 3 kids. What is the biggest thing you miss about the original Broken Skull Ranch? I know Ric Flair is one of your favorites of all time. If you were to have another match, what current star would it be? I know you're not going to wrestle again. I'm just curious. Sincerely, Kevin Adams. Hey, Kevin. Man, good luck with them elbows, and I'm glad you're healing up. I'm glad you found a podcast, and I'm glad I could help you through that time. I think the biggest thing I miss about the Broken Skull Ranch is having a 2,000-acre border around me, or just a fenced-in area that is mine. and it was high fenced, and that was my refuge. That was my rectangle. That was my space. Was my wife's, half of it was hers. So that's the biggest thing I miss, is having that buffer around me that no one else could come on. Where we're at the Broken Skull Ranch in Nevada, a much smaller place, not quite as private as the Broken Skull Ranch in South Texas were, because we were in the middle of nowhere. And there's good that comes with that, and there's bad that comes with that when you have an emergency. But that's the biggest thing I miss, is when I go through that gate and close that gate, I know that I'm not going to see another other person on my property, because they're not supposed to be there. And that's what I miss. I also miss, all the times, hanging out with Ted, drinking Ted, making margaritas, going deer hunting and all that other stuff. But the biggest thing I miss is my privacy and closing down everything around me, and nobody can get on my property. And that's it. If I was going to have another match, what current superstar would it be? I don't know, man. That's a good question. Of course, I'm very good friends with Brock Lesnar, so I think it'd be fun to walk with Brock, because I was supposed to all those years ago. I also really think Elias is doing really, really well, and I'd like to work with that guy to elevate him. I think he's on his way to being a top guy. Those two guys off the top of my head. Again, I've known Brock forever, and we're very good friends, but Elias has been making, more and more progress. The character's coming around. The guitar work is great. Damn good hand in the ring. Great gimmick. He's working baby now. I mean, well, he's kind of doing his thing, but skewed towards the baby side. And I think that's great, because it's kind of a cool gimmick. He was getting heat with it too, but very entertaining guy. Those are two names for you. Here's a question from David over there in Rochester, Michigan. He says, Steve, who actually gives you the go-home cue at the end of your podcast? You know what? When I started making that shit up about 5 years ago, I just knew I needed a go-home cue, because it's funny when you've been in the wrestling business for a long time, you always just kind of have your lingo, things that you're used to saying. And like I was talking with someone on the podcast the other day, it's fun to be able to have an inner circle where you can kind of speak your wrestling language or lingo, because it's part of your life, because you're part of the business for so long. So I just invented that, hey man, give me the go-home cue. Way back in the day. Now, way back in the day, the earliest I can remember is getting the go-home cue is when Grizzly Smith was the agent there in WCW. And if guys were going too long, or if they were stinking out the joint, an old trick that they used to do was the guy who was putting on the show would walk around the ring, and he would just grab his tie and just kind of flip it. And you would never know, if you were a fan in the audience, that this guy was sending the guys inside the ring the go-home sign, but that's what that was. And so there's actually nobody giving me the go-home cue. I simply kind of sit there and try to keep the shows, depending on what I'm doing, from 60 to 90 minutes to make one episode. And if they go above and beyond that, I'll turn it into 2 episodes. But that is indeed me, myself, giving myself the go-home cue, just based on what I've covered and when it's time to go home. I got to have something to say. This is the end of the podcast, and that's how I do it. Hey, Steve, Jeremy here. Back in the Attitude Era, you were definitely the breadwinner when it came to crowd pops. What ran through your mind as that glass shattered and that crowd popped? Side question, what's the best crowd pop you've had? Well, first of all, the best pop, I can't remember. People send them to me, on GIFs and memes all the time on social media and to my email address, but I can't, singularly pick the best one, because that's kind of subjective, and I ain't got no damn noise meter to register how loud the pops were, but they were fucking awesome. So what runs through your mind is that glass shatters and crowd pops, man. I don't know what's running through your mind, or what was running through my mind was, if I got a good one, it's like, hey, fuck yeah, shit's on, man. And it's an adrenaline spike. You feel it more than you think about it. You don't really think about it, but you hear it, and so you're registering, and inside, hey man, I had that BMF walk, and I didn't let the crowd in until I hit that first turnbuckle, and that's when I let them in. That was my signal. Sometimes these days, or even back then, when many people come out of that curtain or they make their entrance, they're already playing to the crowd, and that's their entrance. My deal was come through that curtain. This is once I got into WWF back in the day. My deal was bam, glass breaks, And then when I get into the ring, that's when I acknowledge people, because I was spending most of the time trash talking, cussing, just being me in a competitive mode. Business is a work, but that's what I was doing. But you live and die by those pops, because those pops are based on how you've been booked, how you've been performing, what you've been up to. Are the crowds buying into what you're doing? What is your relationship with the crowd? Do they love you? Do they hate you? How are they feeling about you? This is the time they're going to let you know how they feel on what the fuck you're doing and how you're being booked. So, man, you live and die by those things. And don't let anybody ever tell you, I don't pay attention to the crowd. Because anybody ever says, hey, I don't pay attention to the crowd, name me one top guy, or a guy who knew his ass from a hole in the ground that didn't care about what the crowd was doing. Horse shit. People that were in the middle, get the middle pops, boos and cheers, they're very aware, whether they want to admit or not, what the fuck that crowd's doing. That's the business. You understand the business. You dissect, with that boos or cheers or whatever, but that's what you live and die by. And you have a very distinct feel or knowledge for where you are within the program and the big picture based on those pops. And there's people who can go out there and get some big pops and not really be that over. But once you get into that rarefied air, it's a feeling of adrenaline. You know what you're doing is the right thing, or people are identifying with it. You're not sitting there thinking, oh, that wasn't loud enough. Maybe I need to change things. But it's definitely something that you pay attention to. And everybody knows that I'm hard of hearing. I can't hear shit. But you put me in a building and we're going to put on a wrestling match, I can hear a cricket fart up there in the damn corner of the damn bleachers. If there's one guy booing, I know who's booing, because I know where he's at, because that's how good my hearing is. I am very tuned in. It's every sense is on, man. You get out there and you smell all that damn beer, the cokes, the popcorn, all the bullshit, the people, the cologne, the perfume, all that, man. That sweaty ass mat, that is a day or a night in heaven. That brief time that you get to go out there and have your part of being in that 20 by 20 to tell your story with your opponent or your opponents if you're in a tag match, and get your shit in and entertain people. So just an awesome feeling, man. And that's one of the things about being in the wrestling business, and probably, anything performance oriented. When you go out there and you knock them dead and you have this adrenaline spike, it's like, it takes you a while. I've talked about this in the past, to come down and get back to a normal level. Your heartbeat slows down. You start settling down like, fuck. But you always remember that. And then, like someone asked me earlier in the podcast, what's the biggest thing I miss about the Broken Skull Ranch? And I said, I miss my buffer. I miss my zone that no one else could come into. One of the biggest things I missed about the business, I'm over it now. You miss the paychecks. Fuck the paychecks. What you miss the most is the adrenaline from that crowd. Whether it's a boo or cheer, it's the desired reaction, which you're trying to achieve at the highest level. That's what you miss. Man, when I turned babyface, and I preferred working heel, but when I got over as a baby, so that's the way we went. When I blew the roof off that place, when they had a scenario set up for me, like Mick Foley winning that title from Rock, when Bischoff announced the results on WCW Nitro, and all of a sudden, like 700,000 channels turned to WWF so they could see it during the Attitude Era and the Monday Night Wars. That pop that I got that night for helping Mick out, well, they had built that moment up. Mick and Rock and everybody out there had built that moment up, so the stage had been set for me to get that pop. And it was all about Mick, because Mick got the championship that night, but I'll never forget it. And it was bam. Another way for us to start winning the war. And it was like, fuck, Eric Bischoff blew off Mick Foley as far as being a draw. No, Mick Foley proved it right there, how many people cared and loved that guy, because everybody changed their channels in the whole United States. It was a monster number. I got to be a part of it. They set the stage for me, and we blew the roof off that place. So it was an unbelievable feeling. We always love when you get those kind of pops. That's what I miss. To segue out and go further, but let me digress and get back to another question. I get excited when I talk about the wrestling business. Hey, Steve, can you give us an idea of your current nutrition and training program and how long you plan to be on it before changing it up again? Fuck. This is from Adam on the main streets of El Paso. You know what, Adam? This kind of goes hand in hand when a couple of weeks ago when I said I had stopped drinking alcohol while I was trying to reach my desired goal weight. So all I'm trying to do is get sub 250. So I probably have, 7 pounds to get under 250, and then I'll go from there. But I'm probably going to take it down to about 245 just for the fuck of it. Because while I'm not drinking, I just want to see what my body will do. So to give you an example of it, I'm in that 2,700 calorie range. I'm within plus or minus 100 calories of that every day. It kind of looks like now 300 grams of protein, 200 grams of carbs, and about 50 grams of fat in that ballpark, plus or minus whatever I need to add. And I track all my foods because I weigh everything that I eat. Right now, I don't eat out at restaurants. I track my macros with an app on my iPhone called Chronometer. A lot of people use MyFitnessPal. There's a bunch of them out there. I'm not attached to Chronometer in any way, shape, or form, but it's the most simple, easiest one that I've found. And you can also scan barcodes on many popular items, so it's already built into the program. You just put your amounts in. So that is my current nutrition program, 0 alcohol, give or take 2,700 calories, about a gallon of water every day. And I'm basically training chest, shoulders, back, and then I will do shoulders and traps, probably a day off, and then I will do legs and arms, or arms rather than legs, another day off. So I'm like 3 on, 2 off. But most of the time, because I always end up traveling somewhere, I almost really never take a day off as far as the gym goes. So I'll just it doesn't matter what I'm doing as far as the weights go. You can make anything work for you, whatever your schedule is. There's no magical grouping of body parts that's going to make you look like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Dorian Yates. So anything will work as long as you apply the intensity. Because I don't train heavy anymore because of my 2 rebuilt rotator cuffs in my shoulders. My longtime knee problems, I don't squat heavy anymore. So I rely more on volume and just getting as much blood as I can to the muscle. I will pre-exhaust with a lighter weight, high reps, before I add a little bit of weight and go medium heavy for lower reps. And that's what I do with respect to that. With cardio, I like to get on a treadmill and walk on an incline for 40 to 60 minutes every single day. You only need, for me, I like to keep my heart rate around 115 beats a minute during this time. I don't think you need to go crazy. We're talking about burning fat. We're not trying to talk about getting into cardiovascular condition to make, a return to the ring or the octagon or something like that, or you get smoked. But for burning fat, I think that's all you need. And if I don't do cardio, as tight as my diet is, I don't burn fat automatically. Even though I'm at a caloric deficit, I must incorporate cardio. And whether that makes sense to anybody or not, even though I'm already in a deficit, I have to have that cardio as the icing on the cake. And they always tell you when you're doing anything, you have to learn and understand your body. It's taken me a long time, but I finally have learned and understood or understand my body. When I was on that keto diet last year, the weight just dropped off like crazy, and it was great. As soon as I finished it, threw everything but the kitchen sink back in my diet, gained it all back. So once you go into a diet, coming out of this thing, I will reverse diet and slowly add the calories in. And this time, the reason I'm not doing keto is because I am not going to live a keto lifestyle. I've got to have carbs, but I got to have them in moderation. Too many carbs, no cardio, I'm going to blow up. And so the mistake with keto is you try to go eating like a regular human being again, and if you're just eating even 150 grams of carbs, you're going to blow up like a tick because your body doesn't know what to do with those carbs anymore because it's been burning fat as a fuel source and making ketones. So for me, piss on keto. It's a great strategy to lose weight, a great strategy. And if you want to do lifetime keto or long-term keto, go for it. I just find I'm happier eating proteins, carbs, and fats rather than just proteins and fats. End of story. That's what I'm doing. I should be my goal weight and probably another 8 to 10 weeks. And I will stick to the program. And once I'm done with that, I've told my wife this a million times, but I ain't deviating from the game plan. I can only eat a certain amount of calories a day. I'll have my 1 to 2 days, though I will pick to have alcohol. But the days of drinking Broken Skull Ranch margaritas every single day, 3 to 4 of them, and then a bunch of wine, those days are long gone. Now, if I could do it and maintain 10% body fat, then I would do it. But the fact of the matter is I can't, so I'll cherry pick my spots once a week, twice a week at the most, moderation, enjoy my life, and stay within a spectrum of leanness, which is acceptable for what I need to do at the time if a gig pops up. Bottom line, that's my workout routine. Good luck with yours. Here's one from Sean. Hey, Steve, I've got neck problems when I got injured in the military, which caused a spinal cord compression. I used to love lifting heavy, but sometimes I get vertigo when I go all out. And now that I'm older and fucked up, I know I can never do that again. I'm looking for a safer alternative, and I was wondering how the DDP yoga is doing for you and your neck problems. Much respect, Sean. Here's the thing, Sean. What I had with respect to my neck problems originally was just spinal stenosis, a narrow spinal canal for my spinal cord. When I got dropped on my head, because there's no space in there, and I had a bone spur growing into my spinal cord, which didn't need to be there, I bruised my spinal cord, and that caused some long-term problems. So the DDP yoga is not going to fix my neck. There's nothing that's going to fix my neck. As far as my neck goes, it's fine because I had C3-4 fused and I had the space cleaned out. So I'm in a very good place with my neck. DDP yoga is a lot of things, but really not even surgery is going to make me any better. So the DDP yoga really helps me with the cardio aspect, flexibility aspect, core strength, and it's low impact cardio. So like I like to do my bike, I like to do my treadmill, but now that I've been on DDP yoga for, Jesus Christ, what's it been, 6-7 months? I'll do DDP yoga twice a week. And for me, with the workout that I'm doing, the flexibility that I'm gaining, I'm still getting more flexible. I make the program work for me. So it doesn't make my neck better. It doesn't make my neck worse. It allows me to gain more flexibility, do all the things that it's supposed to do. And it really is a good workout because the way you engage, if you get the app, try the app out for 7 days. The way you engage and you do all that shit, you really got to focus. And when you do, it's kind of like it's DDP yoga. It's just, it'll give you a strength. It'll kind of make you feel like you really accomplished something and you've been put through the ringer. It ain't no bullshit. It's a damn good workout, and I do it twice a week now. So, yeah, it ain't going to hurt your neck. You probably won't get the vertigo, but again, anytime you got a neck issue, or like my buddies will say, oh, Steve, you can do this CrossFit workout. I got rebuilt shoulders too. Hey, man, fuck you. Every damn shoulder injury is different. It might be the same injury, but the repair process and how your body handles that is a whole different thing. So I can't say a blanket statement just because I had my neck fused up and had spinal stenosis and a bone spur growing on my spinal cord that what I'm saying is going to be safe for you. I can say that it's been safe for me. It has not aggravated my neck condition. Good luck with it. Here's one from John C. Nash. Hey, Steve, recently Jose Lothario passed away. I remember watching him on Channel 39 on Houston Wrestling on Saturdays. You got any stories of Jose and interactions you had with him? Man, all I can remember about Jose Lothario is watching him when I was a kid because, you know, he was about a generation and a half, maybe 2 generations ahead of me. Hell of a wrestler. I don't know why I liked him so much because I was such a young kid back then. Maybe it was his style in the ring and how smooth he was, and the dude could work his ass off. But Jose Lothario, I don't even know if he ever worked heel. I just remember him as being a very over baby face. And of course, I knew he trained Shawn Michaels, and he would come to some of the shows. But man, just a super nice guy. Hell of a damn worker. I was a hell of a fan of his when I was a kid. But dude, he was just good. That's all I can remember about it. He was just good, and he was just a cool dude. Jose was one of the most laid-back guys that I knew, and everybody respected him because everybody knew that, man, I was a bad motherfucker back in his day. He could work his ass off. So it's been so long. I'm going to have to get back on YouTube and watch some Jose Lothario stuff, and I'll follow up with it on that because the dude was a big inspiration because he was one of the key guys that was in Houston wrestling at the time when I decided, at 7 or 8 years of age that I knew I wanted to be a pro wrestler. So I owe a lot to that guy. And with that question being answered, I am going to put a pin in it and come back and close down the show. Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody. If you or a loved one suffer from leg or foot cramps, you know how painful and disruptive they can be. Muscle cramps can jolt you out of a sound sleep or interrupt your daily life. Well, check it out because I'm about to get you hip to Theraworx Relief, a non-greasy foam that's proven to relieve muscle cramps fast and reduce muscle soreness. With daily use, Theraworx Relief can even prevent muscle cramps before they start, so you can get a full night's sleep or do the activities you love. Theraworx Relief only takes minutes to apply. It absorbs quickly, and it works. People love the results. You've probably seen Dr. Drew Pinsky on TV putting Theraworx Relief over. It's that efficient and respected. The holiday season is around the corner, so if you know someone who suffers from muscle cramps or muscle soreness, get them Theraworx. Theraworx Relief is the top choice for preventing and relieving muscle cramps. Get Theraworx Relief today in the pain relief aisle at Walmart, CVS, Rite-Aid, and Walgreens, or by talking to your pharmacist. Learn more at theteraworxrelief.com. That's THERAWORX relief.com. Check it out. All right, let me give a shout-out to my main man, Diamond Dallas Page and DDP Yoga. You guys know, like I talked about in the podcast, I've been doing my regular workouts with the DDP Yoga Now app for a long-ass time, and I'm feeling damn good, and it's for the better. And I'm more limber and loose than ever before, and I feel great. And I damn sure got some core strength going on. If you ain't already aware of the changes it's made in my life, DDP Yoga has transformed the lives of legends like Mick Foley, Chris Jericho, who's still going strong at 47, as well as helping rehab injuries for WWE superstars Bobby Fish, Drew McIntyre, and AJ Styles. DDP Yoga can work for all ages, weights, and fitness levels. It's a kick-ass cardio workout that will dramatically increase your flexibility and strengthen your core like never before, all with minimal joint impact. Just for listeners of the Steve Austin Show and just in time for Black Friday, DDPY is offering its biggest discount ever with 30% off DDPY workouts and the DDP Yoga Now app. This massive sale is happening right now from November 19th to November 30th. And to boot, you will still get 3 months free on the app with any DVD program purchase or 7 days free on any app subscription. This offer is only available at ddpyoga.com/Austin, so get on it and check this out. Badass update. DDP's upcoming book, Positively Unstoppable, The Art of Owning It, is now available for pre-order. Get yours now. This thing is filled with lessons from Page's life that share his own struggles to find his calling, the way he overcame one obstacle after another. Positively Unstoppable is an absolute Bible for anyone who needs a kick in the ass to be re-inspired to follow their dreams and take real action towards the things that matter most to them. Think about that. Positively Unstoppable will be released January 15, 2019 and is available for pre-order anywhere books are sold. I predict this is going to be a #1 bestseller in the New York Times. Check it out. All right, everybody, give me the go-home cue, so I'm going to wrap up this podcast and ride off in the sunset. Before I do that, I want to thank you guys that sent in questions to questions@steveaustonshow.com. Appreciate you helping a brother out. I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving or a happy belated Thanksgiving if you get this after the fact that it drops. I hope everybody has a good one. I hope you travel safely and make it back home and have a great time visiting your family. Many people in transition, and I wish all those people all the best in the world, and I'm thinking of you, and I hope that you are able to have the best Thanksgiving that you can have. I want to thank a few people before I leave off today. I want to thank betonline.ag. I want to thank ESPN, Theraworx, DDP Yoga, and Geico. These guys are the best sponsors you can find. That's how I'm able to do this podcast for you twice a week for free. Please support them because they support us. And if you need more info on my sponsors, check out the show description to this episode for details. Folks, until next time, my name is Steve Austin, and I will catch your ass down the road.
This has been a Podcast One production. Download new episodes of The Steve Austin Show every Tuesday at PodcastOne.com. That's PodcastOne.com.
Before we ride off, a quick message from our friends at Geico. Go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes, you could be saving 15% or more on car insurance. That's right. Save hundreds of dollars on car insurance at geico.com. Extra money in your pocket? It may just be the most rewarding thing you do today.